You know, it's kinda wild how one single text, just one line, can completely shatter a friendship you thought would last forever. I used to have a best friend, the kind of friend you imagine standing by your side at your wedding, the one you'd call in the middle of the night just to cry or to laugh or to say nothing at all. But everything we had, everything I believed in, came crashing down because of one stupid notification. This is my story, a real one, about friendship, betrayal, and the painful lesson I had to learn when I was just 17. And if you've ever felt abandoned by someone you trusted, maybe you'll see a little bit of yourself in it too. My name is Emily Walker. I'm a freshman now, studying psychology at the University of Oregon. But the story I'm about to share happened during my junior year at Lincoln High School back in Portland. And I still remember every part of it like it just happened yesterday. I met Sophie Bennett in 7th grade. I was that quiet girl who always had sketchbooks in her backpack and headphones in her ears. I was shy, observant, the type to sit in the back of the room and avoid eye contact. Sophie, on the other hand, lit up every room she walked into. On the first day of orientation, she walked straight over to me, looked at my beat-up sneakers and said, "I like your shoes. They've got personality." That's how it all started. We became inseparable. We ate lunch together every day, we studied together, stayed up on FaceTime until 2 a.m. cramming for finals, and filled notebooks with our dreams and dumb bucket lists like sneak into a concert and road trip before senior year. We even had this silly little pact: we'd be each other's bridesmaids no matter what. And for years, I believed we were unbreakable. But everything changed when junior year began. That was the year Sophie got into the cheer squad, something she had always wanted. I was genuinely happy for her. She looked so proud in her uniform, and I cheered louder than anyone at her first performance. But slowly, the gap between us started to grow. At first, it was subtle: canceled study sessions because of practice, slower replies to texts, missed calls. I told myself it was normal. People grow, schedules get busier. But then she stopped asking if I was free for lunch. She stopped waiting for me outside class. And when I'd walk by her new group, the cheer girls, the loud, laughing, always perfect ones, they'd barely acknowledge me. Sometimes Sophie would flash me a quick smile, but it always felt hollow. I kept telling myself it was just a phase, that we'd circle back eventually, that she was still my best friend underneath all of it. And then came that day. It was a gray Tuesday afternoon in October. My phone had died and I needed to call my mom for a ride. Sophie handed me hers and went into the bathroom. I wasn't snooping, I just opened the phone to make a call. The screen hadn't locked yet. That's when a message popped up. It was from Ashley, one of the girls on the squad. "Why are you still hanging out with Emily? She's so painfully average." I froze. And then I saw Sophie's reply. "I know, I feel kinda bad, but it's hard to keep pretending." I didn't cry, not then. I stared at the screen as my chest went numb. She walked back out of the bathroom like nothing had happened. "You get through?" she asked, casual as ever. I nodded. "Yeah, thanks." And I smiled, because that's what you do when your heart breaks in a hallway and there's no one around to catch you. I left school that day with the Oregon rain drizzling over my hoodie and a knot in my stomach so tight I could barely breathe. Sophie's reply kept echoing in my head. "It's hard to keep pretending." I didn't understand. What exactly had she been pretending? That she liked me? That we were still friends? That all those years of late-night talks and shared secrets were just fake? I sat in the back seat of my mom's car, staring out the foggy window in silence. She asked how school was, and I just mumbled, "Fine." Because how do you explain to your mom that your entire foundation just cracked in one afternoon? That night, I didn't cry. I lay in bed, phone on my chest, staring at the ceiling while that text replayed in my head like a glitching record. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her words. Every time I breathed, I felt a little more hollow. I wanted to text her, so badly. I wanted to ask her what she meant, why she said that, whether she really meant it. But another part of me, the exhausted part, was terrified of hearing the truth. So I did nothing. The next day at school, I walked into our biology class, the class we always sat in together, second row by the window. Her seat was empty. For a split second, I hoped she was just late. But 5 minutes later, she walked in laughing with Ashley and sat on the opposite side of the room. No hi, no glance my way. I stared at the side of her face the whole class, waiting for something, a signal, a twitch, anything, but she didn't even look at me once. And in that moment, I realized something that hurt more than anything else. It wasn't that she'd changed. It wasn't that she'd moved on. It was that she was okay acting like I didn't exist. The following week blurred into a mess of silence and avoidance. I still came to school. I still turned in homework. But inside, it felt like I was slowly disappearing. Sophie didn't talk to me, and neither did anyone else from our old group. Not even a pity nod in the hallway. Just this cold, polite indifference, as if I had become invisible. The worst part wasn't being excluded. It was realizing that no one noticed I was gone from their world. I sat alone at lunch, not by choice, but because I didn't have anyone left to sit with. The cafeteria, once full of inside jokes and shared fries, now felt like a stage I wasn't invited on. I'd scroll on my phone just to look busy, or doodle in my notebook just to avoid eye contact. I kept trying to tell myself that it didn't matter, that I was better off alone than pretending like they still cared. But the truth was, I missed her. I missed Sophie like hell. Even if she hurt me, even if she betrayed me, even if she said those things, I missed the version of her I thought was real. One night, I finally did it. I opened our old chat and typed out a message. "Do you remember anything? I just want to know." I hit send. No response. I waited the entire next day. Still nothing. I stared at the screen, the little delivered status mocking me. I wanted to delete the message. I wanted to scream. But instead, I just closed the app and lay down. Not all heartbreaks come from romantic relationships. Sometimes, the worst ones come from the people you thought would never leave your side. People think losing a friend is just about missing someone, but it's more than that. It's waking up and feeling like the world you used to know doesn't belong to you anymore. I still went to school every day. I still walked the same hallways, opened the same locker, sat at the same desk in bio class. But everything felt off, like I was walking through a version of reality where I existed, but didn't matter. It wasn't just Sophie ignoring me, it was everyone. People who used to sit with us at lunch stopped making eye contact. Girls I'd partnered with in group projects suddenly already had a partner. No one ever said anything mean to me, no one pushed me or posted anything nasty, but somehow that made it worse. Because it wasn't bullying, it was indifference. Cold, suffocating indifference. One day during lunch, I sat alone at one of the small outdoor tables behind the cafeteria. It was the same place Sophie and I used to eat during sophomore year, back when we'd share sandwiches, joke about our crushes, and plan weekend movie nights. Now, I sat there alone with a granola bar and a bottle of water. I didn't even bother unpacking my lunch. A group of girls walked by, girls from our grade. One of them glanced over at me and whispered, not quietly enough, "She's still sitting there? God, that's depressing." They laughed as they walked away. I didn't flinch, didn't cry. I just stared at the table, tracing the worn-out graffiti with my fingertip. It was starting to feel like maybe they were right. The worst part was how quiet it all was. There was no big blowout, no public fight, Just one day I had someone, the next day I didn't. And because it wasn't dramatic, no one felt the need to step in. Not my classmates, not my teachers, not even Sophie. It was like someone had erased me, quietly, efficiently, and nobody noticed. I stopped trying. I started sleeping through my alarms. I turned in homework late or not at all. I'd come home and lie in bed for hours, sometimes without even taking my shoes off. I deleted Instagram from my phone because I couldn't stand seeing Sophie's face in every other story, laughing, partying, being loved by people who thought they really knew her. I felt like I was screaming on the inside, but no one could hear it. I even stopped drawing, which for me was a big deal. My sketchbook used to be my outlet, but now, every time I picked up a pencil, my hand felt heavy, my mind blank. I wasn't just hurt, I was disappearing. And the thing that scared me the most? I wasn't sure if I wanted to be found. There was one night, and I've never told anyone this before, where I just lay on my bed in the dark and wondered, if I didn't show up tomorrow, would anyone ask where I went? Not because I wanted to do anything drastic, but because I genuinely didn't know the answer, and that's a terrifying place to be. I wasn't angry anymore, just numb, tired. I felt like I was floating through life, one hallway at a time, hoping that somehow, someone would see me again. And even though I didn't know it yet, someone was about to. You don't really notice when you hit rock bottom. It's not a crash. It's more like sinking. Quiet, gradual. One bad day turns into a bad week. Then it becomes your new normal. That's what happened to me. I stopped caring about school, about clothes, about people. I didn't even bother pretending I was okay anymore. I'd throw on the same hoodie 3 days in a row. My grades dropped. I barely spoke in class. And when teachers asked if everything was all right, I just nodded and looked away. Because honestly, what was I supposed to say? My best friend ghosted me and now I feel like I don't exist? No one wants to hear that, especially not in a school hallway between bells. I started avoiding lunch altogether. I'd hide out in the back of the library or pretend to be in a meeting with a teacher. The truth was, I couldn't stand the idea of sitting in the cafeteria, surrounded by noise and laughter, knowing I didn't belong to any of it. I was invisible. Even the few classmates who used to smile at me in the halls started walking past like I was just another face. I couldn't tell if they were avoiding me out of loyalty to Sophie, or if I'd just faded into the background that easily. Maybe both. There was one afternoon that still burned into my memory. I was sitting on the floor of a bathroom stall during lunch, just to be alone, just to not be seen. I had my knees pulled up to my chest, earbuds in with no music playing, and I was just there, trying to breathe, trying not to cry. That's when I realized something. I didn't recognize myself anymore. The version of me that used to love sketching in the courtyard, that used to belt out Taylor Swift lyrics with Sophie in the car, that used to get excited over dumb things like new markers or coffee shop playlists, she was gone. I didn't even know where she went. And worse, I wasn't sure I wanted her back. Because that version of me had believed in people. And look where that got her. That night, after yet another dinner of microwave mac and cheese eaten alone in my room, I did something I swore I wouldn't do. I opened our old chat, the one with Sophie. The last message I'd sent was still there, unread, just sitting there like a piece of me that never got a response. I stared at it for a while. Then, with shaking hands, I typed another one. I miss you. I just want to know what happened. I hovered over the send button for what felt like forever. Then I hit it. No dots, no reply, not even a scene. I don't know what I was expecting. Maybe closure, maybe an apology, maybe something. But instead, I just got silence. And somehow, that hurt worse than anything she could have said. The thing about silence is, it has weight. It's heavy, and when you carry it alone for too long, it starts to press down on everything. Your joy, your confidence, your sense of self. And in that moment, I was crushed under all of it. For the first time in my life, I thought, maybe this is just how it's going to be from now on. Alone, forgettable, done. But I wasn't done. Not yet. Because right when I was about to give up on people entirely, someone I barely knew noticed me. And that changed everything. It's strange how the people who save you aren't always the ones you expect. She wasn't popular. She wasn't loud. She wasn't the kind of girl who made big entrances or had a dozen followers hanging off her every post. Honestly, I barely knew she existed, but somehow she saw me. Her name was Jenna Park. We'd been in the same biology class for 2 years, but we'd never really spoken. Just a few polite nods when switching lab partners. She was quiet, always wore oversized hoodies, and constantly had her earbuds in. She was the type of person who'd rather sit in the corner of the library than the front row of anything. And then one day, she walked up to me. It was after school. I was sitting on a bench by the flagpole, waiting for my mom to pick me up, pretending to scroll through my phone so I didn't look as lonely as I felt. That's when I heard footsteps slow down and a soft voice say, "Hey, Emily, right?" I looked up, surprised. Jenna stood there, clutching the strap of her backpack like it was her anchor. I've seen you in the library a lot," she said, voice awkward but gentle. "I usually sit in the back corner. I don't really talk to people, but if you want someone to sit with, I wouldn't mind." I blinked. For a second, I honestly thought she was joking, but her eyes were sincere. No pity, no judgment, just quiet kindness. I nodded. That day, we sat together in the library. Neither of us said much. She pulled out a book, something manga, I think, and I opened my sketchpad for the first time in weeks. My pencil felt clumsy in my hand, but it moved. And for the first time in what felt like forever, I didn't feel invisible. We kept meeting like that, every afternoon after school. No pressure, no awkward small talk. Sometimes we'd listen to music together, each with one earbud. Sometimes we'd just sit in silence. And sometimes, when it felt right, we'd talk. Not about Sophie, not about the past. About books, art, random dreams, why iced coffee is better than hot, whether aliens exist. Stupid, silly, beautiful stuff. I never told Jenna what I was going through. I didn't have to. She just knew, without asking. And slowly, I started to breathe again. One day, while we were sketching in the library, she said something that stuck with me. "You know," she said, not looking up from her doodle, "I used to have a best friend too. She made fun of me for reading manga and said I was weird in front of the whole class." I looked at her, startled. She shrugged, still drawing. Didn't touch a comic for almost a year after that. Then one day I realized, if I stopped doing what made me happy just because someone else thought it was lame, I'd basically be giving them control over my life. I didn't say anything, but inside me, something cracked open. Not in a bad way, more like sunlight finally pushing through. Jenna didn't save me in some dramatic, cinematic way. She didn't pull me out of a burning building. She didn't scream at Sophie in the middle of the cafeteria. She just sat beside me. She made room for me. In the quiet, in the ordinary, in the parts of the day no one else noticed. And in doing that, she reminded me that I was still here, still capable of connection, still worthy of being seen. Sometimes, all it takes is one person to make you feel like you matter again. For me, that person was Jenna. I had no idea that the truth was about to find me. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't trying to expose anyone or start drama. I was just trying to survive each day, trying to stay invisible enough not to get hurt again. But sometimes the universe puts the truth right in your hands, whether you're ready or not. It started with a message. I was sitting in the library with Jenna, half-heartedly working through a history worksheet while she read. The rain was tapping against the windows, and everything felt calm, quiet in a way I hadn't known in months. That's when my phone buzzed. It was a message from Mia, a girl from my English class. She'd been friends with Sophie once. We weren't close, but she was always kind. Her text was short. No greeting, no emojis. Hey, you should probably see this. Attached was a screenshot. At first, I didn't know what I was looking at. Just a group chat, pink background, generic title, baddies only. But then I saw the names. Sophie, Ashley, a few others from the cheer squad. And the messages? They took my breath away. Ashley, she still sits in that same corner like a lost puppy. Sophie, fur. I'm like, girl, please move on. Another girl, now she's hanging out with that weirdo Jenna. They're made for each other. Ashley again, didn't she text you? Sophie, yeah, LOL, I left it on read. I stared at the screen, heart racing. My hands went cold. I knew they'd probably said things. I knew I wasn't someone they missed, but seeing it written out like that, seeing Sophie laugh about me, publicly, cruelly, it was like getting sucker punched in the chest. I didn't cry. I didn't scream or throw my phone. I just sat there, silent, still. Jenna noticed something was wrong. She didn't say a word. She just slid her earbud out and reached over to gently touch my hand. I handed her my phone. She read the messages, her face unreadable. Then she set the phone down, leaned back, and whispered, "You didn't deserve that." 3 simple words, but they meant more than anything I'd heard in months. Because for the first time, someone validated the pain I had been trying to swallow whole. Later that evening, that very same screenshot started circulating around our school's private Reddit forum. I didn't post it. I still don't know who did. Maybe Mia. Maybe someone from the group chat who finally had enough. The post was titled, "Mean Girls Are Real." Hundreds of students saw it. Some commented, some just watched. Wow, I used to look up to Sophie. This is messed up. Not cool at all. Shout out to Emily and Jenna for being real ones. For the first time, the spotlight was on them, not me. And it burned. Rumors spread fast. People started talking. Sophie disappeared from Instagram for a few days. Ashley deleted her entire profile. And the cheer squad? Rumor had it there was an emergency team meeting to address the drama. Some girls quietly distanced themselves. A few even came up to me in the hallway with awkward half smiles and, "Hey, sorry about all that stuff." But I didn't care about any of that. I wasn't interested in revenge. I wasn't looking for payback. I just felt tired. I'd already lost so much: my trust, my self-worth, my peace. The last thing I wanted was to lose myself again by becoming someone who lived for petty victories. So I stayed quiet, not because I was weak, but because I was finally strong enough not to need an audience. That night, Jenna and I sat on the grass outside the library after school. The rain had stopped, the sky was still gray, but the air felt lighter. She looked over at me and asked, "Do you feel better? You know, now that people know the truth?" I thought about it for a second, then said, "I'm not sure if better is the word, but I feel seen." Jenna nodded. "You are. You always were. Some people just didn't bother looking." I smiled. Not because it was all fixed, not because the hurt was gone, but because I knew I wasn't alone anymore. And that was more than enough. I always thought when the moment came, I'd be ready. You know, the big confrontation, the face-to-face, the final reckoning between me and Sophie. I imagined myself standing tall, delivering the perfect speech, something strong, something that would leave her speechless. But when it actually happened, it was nothing like that. There were no crowds, no shouting, no dramatic music in the background. Just two girls in a quiet hallway with more history between them than words could hold. It was after 7th period on a Thursday. I was waiting for Jenna near the side entrance, scrolling through my phone, not thinking about anything in particular. Then I heard my name. Soft, unsteady. Emily. I looked up. Sophie was standing there, alone. No Ashley, no group, no perfect outfit. Just Sophie. Hoodie, sneakers, hair in a messy bun, backpack slung loosely over one shoulder. She looked small, nervous, like she'd been building up the courage for days. I didn't say anything, just stared. She took a breath. "I don't know how to start this," she said, eyes flicking to the floor, then back up to me. I stayed quiet. "I saw the post," she continued, "and I know it's too late, but I wanted to say I'm sorry." I crossed my arms. "Sorry for what?" She paused. "For everything. For saying those things. For letting other people talk about you like that. For pretending I didn't know you. And for not replying to your message. That was cruel, I know." Her voice cracked a little on that last sentence, but I didn't jump in. I let the silence sit between us for a while. "You hurt me," I said finally. My voice was low but steady. "You made me feel like I didn't exist." She nodded quickly. "I know, and the worst part is I never meant to make you feel like that. I got caught up. I thought, I don't know, that I had to be someone else to fit in, and that version of me didn't leave space for you, and I hate that." I looked at her then, really looked at her. She didn't look like the Sophie I used to know, and maybe that was the point. Maybe we had both changed too much to go back. "I don't hate you," I said quietly. Her eyes widened. "You don't?" I shook my head. "But I can't be your friend again, not like before. Too much has happened." She nodded slowly, and for the first time in months, we both looked at each other without bitterness, without pretending, without trying to fix anything. Just real. "That's fair," she said. "I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. Not for show, not because of the post, just because I mean it." I took a deep breath. "Okay." That was it. Not a dramatic goodbye, not some grand closure. Just one honest moment between two people who used to mean everything to each other, and who finally accepted that it was time to let go. That night, I went home and opened my sketchbook. I hadn't touched it since before the screenshots, before the message, before everything. I drew the hallway. Two girls standing on opposite ends. One holding out an apology, the other holding on to her peace. I didn't label them, I didn't need to, because the image spoke for itself. The next day, Jenna handed me a cookie wrapped in a napkin. No explanation, no note, just a small, quiet gift. I smiled. Sometimes healing doesn't come from big gestures. Sometimes it comes from knowing who stayed when everything else fell apart. And for the first time in a long time, I felt okay. Not perfect, not over it, just okay. And that was a start. Time passed. And with time, things stopped hurting the way they used to. I didn't forget, but I stopped flinching every time I heard Sophie's name. I stopped replaying the text message in my head at 2 a.m. I stopped wondering what I did wrong. I started wondering what I wanted next. I rejoined art club. I applied to college. I made new playlists, new memories, new friendships. And somewhere along the way, I started to feel like myself again. Not the version of me who needed Sophie to feel whole. Not the version of me who sat alone in the cafeteria, shrinking a little more every day. But a new version, a stronger one, a version who knew how to set boundaries, who knew what she was worth, who knew that being left behind didn't mean being less. I still have the text I sent her, the one she never answered. Do you remember anything? I just want to know. Back then, that message carried so much weight. It was my way of reaching for something, for closure, for truth, for a reason. Now when I look at it, I don't feel the sting anymore. I feel something else. Pride. Because that girl, the one who hit send even when her heart was breaking, she was brave. She chose honesty, even when silence was easier. And I'll always respect her for that. I know there are people out there going through the same thing. Maybe it's not a best friend. Maybe it's a sibling, or a partner, or a group you thought you belonged to. But the pain feels the same, sharp, quiet, and lonely. So if you're listening to this and you feel like you've been replaced, abandoned, or made to feel like you're not enough, please hear me. You are not too sensitive. You are not too much. You are not wrong for loving someone who didn't know how to love you back. You are a whole person, with or without them. And trust me, one day, the right people will find you. The ones who make space for your voice, your quirks, your silence, your chaos, all of it. The ones who never make you feel like you have to earn your place beside them. People like Jenna. It all started with one text. And yeah, it broke me. But it also showed me who I was, what I needed, and who I deserved. So maybe that text didn't ruin everything. Maybe it revealed the truth. And sometimes that's what growing up is, learning to let go of what's fake so you can make room for what's real. Thank you for listening to my story. If this hit close to home, if you felt seen or less alone, I'd love for you to stick around. Go ahead and tap like if this meant something to you. And if you want more real stories like this one about friendship, healing, and figuring life out, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. I've got more to share. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. Share it with them. You never know how one story might change someone's day. Thanks for being here. You matter more than you know.